Director Hwang Dong-hyuk started writing Squid Game in 2008, but production for the TV show didn't start until 2020. However, considering that the show is on its way to being the most watched TV show of all time on Netflix, guess it's safe to say that all that waiting paid off. The success of the show can be attributed to the quality script, awesome acting, spectacular set, and some neat practical effects. And in this video, we'll be taking a behind-the-scene look to see how the whole show came together. The Dorm. The dorm is where the players are sequestered for the entirety of the game, and boy, is it huge! One can only imagine how the actors must have felt acting in a space that huge, but it actually needed to be huge because a lot happened there. From the late-night massacre to some daylight confrontations, the dorm is a very important part of the show. The prison-like design and dull painting add to the overall tone of the show. Seeing the characters wake up in a large room with dull paint and bunk beds helps the audience to get ready for some really upsetting stuff. Nostalgia. While the final season of the show might have changed your perception of Player 001, you can't help but love the sweet old man that played him, especially after learning that he got nostalgic feelings when he found out that they were going to play the marble game. Apparently, he used to play the game way back when he was younger. Being a part of the show gave him an opportunity to be transported back in time, if only for a little bit. From the ground up. The entire show was shot in just one city in South Korea, allowing the production crew to channel funds that would have been spent on traveling to build an awesome set. The set was mostly built from the ground up, including the houses and streets. And this must have taken them a lot of time, considering how complicated the set looks. But the end result is more than worth it. Now, if you're impressed by the set, imagine how the actors must have felt being there physically. A lot of them were rendered completely speechless when they got to the location and explored the set. They were excited at the fact that they had been given the opportunity to perform in such a masterpiece of a set and even went ahead to take some pictures. The actors were, of course, quite familiar with the script as they had been given it way before their arrival on set. But they didn't know what the set was going to look like until they arrived on it, and it positively blew their minds. Envious yet? Little CGI. Considering that the show took 12 years to move from the director's notepad to production, we can sure understand why he wanted everything to be perfect. To achieve this perfection, he decided that the show could do with as little CGI as possible, and the result is nothing short of impressive. Remember the red light, green light episode? That whole set was built from the ground up, and there were actually 456 players there. None of them were added with CGI. We guess the director felt that since they had built a really large set, there was absolutely no reason they couldn't have as many real-life players as necessary on set. Whatever the reasoning behind using little special effects, the idea certainly worked. The stairs. In spite of being brightly colored, the winding stairs on the set of Squid Game add to the overall feeling of dread that the entire set inspires. But, of course, that was the point. The stairs were actually inspired by a piece of art called Relativity by Dutch artist M.C. Escher. And in the piece, the stairs were arranged in an order that defies gravity, painting a mind-bending picture. Infusing this into the set of a mind-boggling TV show like the Squid Game was certainly a good call. Giant playground. Like basically every other set piece in this show, the giant playground where they played the honeycomb game was built completely from scratch. So that large space you see is very real. But not only is the space real, the giant playground equipment is also very real, no CGI. And the fact that they are really large makes the players look like children, giving the entire scene a very creepy and bloody playground vibe. But who knows, maybe entering the set was nostalgic for some of the actors. Killer Doll. A motion sensor doll with the ability to take out any moving living thing in sight is certainly more than just creepy. It's downright vicious. Probably more scary though is the fact that the doll is actually real and not CGI created. But at this point, did you really expect anything different from Squid Game? Anyway, the doll was specifically created for the show, and after its production, it was moved to Matchaland, a giant museum in Jincheon County in Cheonggyeong-buk-do Province in South Korea. Killer Doll was initially put on public display, and some fans were even able to get some pictures. From some of those pictures, it looks like the doll is missing one of her hands. maybe that's the reason why the doll was taken down from public display. Hidden messages. If you paid attention to the walls in the dorm, you might have found some really cool Easter eggs. As players are killed and more of the bunk beds are removed, we start to see some drawings on the wall. And if you pay attention to them, you'll find out that they are depictions of the games played. It's really cool that the set designers decided to incorporate that into the set. Something else that the production crew mentioned is that the way the bunk beds were stacked was not arbitrary. They were stacked that way to give the dorm a sense of abandonment and add to the overall savage theme of the show. Tug of War. We're sure you have come to expect by now that the stage used for the Tug of War game was built from scratch, and the platform where the tug happens was actually high. However, not as high as it was in the movie. A bit of CGI was used to make the scene seem more ominous and the drop more deadly, but the actual creation is still mighty scary for the regular person. With the amount of effort and attention to detail that went into the production of Squid Game, it's no surprise that it's gaining all this attention. In fact, it's very deserving of the attention. If you enjoyed this video, then you'll definitely want to watch our top 10 shocking moments of the entire series. Just click on the screen right here, or you can watch our expose on every ending clue that you might have missed while watching the show. Thank you very much for watching. Netflix Master, out.